Shown on the graph, it's on incremental. Incremental stream is like a function of events that happens in time, durations, processes, mediacrots, like mediocre, or mediate. Like, let's say there was a juggling ball, one color, and five more balls, each a different color, moving them balls around. Incremental media shun attaining something like that, and then wondering about it. What does this mean, chicken boy? What does it mean? And I know what I mean because I'm having it, and I'm very large. Like, people understand me to be a sensation. I go off once and it never stops. And so that's what people always have believed that I was, even though they don't always recognize me. They always think, like, who's that fucking idiot over there? Like, and I'd be like, oh, that's Bombaloa. You'd be like, all right, can you just tell them to stop laughing at him or whatever? And you'd be like, no, man, it's their way. It's their way. It's a better way, unfortunately. And we believe that you support them from the beginning. Right to the end. Yeah. Because you're too afraid to face the facts and get to know how wisdom turns to be the act of kindness, not the act of stone. So, in my inferiorities, like, I was kind of thinking, who are all these clever people in Ireland that, 1 in 10, it could be 1 in 20, 2 in 20, even better, could have that intelligence, pretense to kind of go, oh, half of these people are donkeys, and the other half are just kind of like half donkeys, half dog. I'm the only human here. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, but at the end of the day, you're just a fucking loser. Because at the end of the day, if you look at things like that, like you're the flower in the garden and everything else is just grass, then what have you really come to understand in paradise and as a teacher? Or let's say, with the problems that you have with that big old brain, but isn't it a better brain to have those problems and deal with them? Or does it create it as a worse problem? Do you find that your intelligence makes your life harder than it would for an easygoing person to be like, what's up, guys? Really clever people are just freaking out because they're too clever to be happy, and it's just not fair, and it's your fault. Something like that. And I'd be like, really? I'm sorry, man. I'm real sorry, man. I don't know why. But that's what I would have said to them. I was like, the video increments media attain or whatever it is, attention, to do with the resurrection of the Lord and the second coming, which has been said by interpreters of the Bible to be, as said, pretty black and white. It's in our Catholic Christianity, I think, as well as a lot of the other versions of Christianity, or sections of their thingamajig. They would be thinking that the apocalypse and the resurrection are a duo, kind of like a one scene. It goes down in the same scene, like the resurrection of Christ and then just not the apocalypse. Some people would go like, why don't we just have the resurrection of the Christ and then not the apocalypse? Have you ever had your baby and then lost it to an ignoramus? That's why we have the apocalypse, because that was not meant to happen. And it has to be the way it is going to be. You see, which is like the Bible says, which is to go back to the Bible and not to take it as a reference for what you decide is reality, but reality itself as an example of someone who knows what they're talking about. Yeah. And then go, why can't we have the resurrection of Christ without the apocalypse? Because you're a dope, is what I would say to you. A dope. You know? You know? See you in hell. Did you ever say that? See you in hell. But why can't we just have the resurrection of Christ? Or not the resurrection of Christ? Because I'm pretty sure he was a pedophile. Yeah. He was a pot smoking fascist pedophile. Just like the rest of them. And at the end of the day, like, this is what I'm talking about, you know, because I was employed by the guys in the skies, like the rains and the cloud, you know, the sun, the empire sun, you know, the solar beam, the, you know, wow, 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 wow. Very hot and heavy hands, you know, had laid me on this planet and told me what I was going to be about, you know. So much of it I've had memories about, and so much of it I've captured in the eyes of what is truly perfection. You know, what is a man on his premise? You know, like, I don't particularly groom this lovely looking beard. I don't particularly give a shit about my external appearance as such, as well as my ego and my mind. It's all like need to need it, have to have it, you know, up and down. You know, isn't it always up and down in this wavy world that it's like, oh, and then, oh, you have to have both. Well, I have the middle ground of it, you know, which is 20 years of meditation to just sit there and kind of go, this is nothingness. There's nothing rewarding me or good about this, but it is the reward, because what it brings you, it's the same thing that it brings the kings and the fathers of heaven on earth. You know, it brings you the appreciation, brings you the awareness, brings you the awaking, and it brings you, like, literally the fullest of your highest height potential to just be okay with not positive. Not positive is not negative. Positive always implies negative. And there is a way to cheat, just like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. There is a single reaction, and just like the verbs that have exceptions in French or Irish or England, in English, all verbs have exceptions. And you can say there is one way that the good and the bad can be defined, and only good can be, you know, in your life. If you choose this one journey. And I've been on that journey. Been on it long enough to prove it. Been on it long enough not to really have to. And I've been on it long enough to feel like my children, my heavenly angel, and the billions of lives that I have held within my mind, will also notice this life, which is not all the suffering equal to all of the gain. Like, you look at these guys going, I'm doing real good in my life, I'm having a good life. You know, he's got no idea what's coming up. You know, he's thinking it's never gonna change. Like, it does change, and it's unexpected when it does change. You know, like this video, if you watched it or if you didn't watch it, you'd appreciate that you might have thought, I'm not really into this, but then I'll stay for something. And now what would I stay for? what would I actually stay for after all of that? You know? I would think maybe a good hooking, good punch in the gush. And like I would say, maybe you would just stay to appreciate that it has been announced and that it had to be announced on an incremental stage level. The second coming of Christ has been um, by official Christian Catholics foretold to be happening as we speak, meaning he is well over 30 years of age, and he is also coming for you. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's coming for you. And he's going to kill you, and then he's going to give you what he wants. Something like that anyway, like, so just chill, chill in the hilly willy. The bombers and the love is all about you. And it is all about you. It's always been all about you. It's all about you, my lovely, lovely boy. And, just to get with it, because I suppose, dealing with the conditions of, like you could say the weather in Ireland, the forecast, it's going to rain soon. It's going to rain. And we will be wet unless we bring our brollies and rain jackets and stay inside usually, or in the shelter at the foyer, or under the tent, inside the tent where I used to live. And just accept it, that it's not always easy to confront the world that you've got. But now is really the time to accept that. Because now is really the time that you come to face your fear and you rise above or you fall beneath, On a world stage, this will take place and everyone will see, unless no one cares, which they probably won't, unless it's really funny or something. And so be thinking,